Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Choice of Rebels Uprising. We have some hard decisions to make today and a lot of reading to do, so let us get started. We ended the last episode on this slide, so you've got 84 healthy adult bandits left to commit this week. Your stores of 25 bushels plus the 28 you've ordered are enough for the band's appointed rations, opening up the other possibilities for deploying your band. Raiding the hegemonic authorities needs scouts and it won't bring in much grain, Captain. Silver and weapons if we win, but we can't eat that. Breeden clears her throat. If we're not going to steal from anyone else's barns, best keep up those tithe barn raids and also make sure we bring as many mules as we can. Keep your eye on that until the band is healthy and morale strong. So we can acquire more mules, scout for opportunities to raid the institutions of the hegemony, work with local merchants to smuggle goods over the Windward Pass, try to get sympathetic helots to give us money, and perhaps to foster some of our children. Ooh, that's actually a good idea. Sabotage the harrowers in nearby towns, set deadly or crippling traps on the approaches of our favorite camps, send missions out to spread the word of rebellion and recruit new followers. On for game other than deer, I want to make a change standing order. So that seems like a good idea. There's so many things that I want to do. We need more mules. Mules is a good idea. Because mules means we can carry back more stuff from raids. Okay, the only really useful animals out here in the wilderness are mules. Strong, sure-footed along barely existing tracks, able to survive on what they forage for themselves rather than competing with you for scarce grain. The 11 you currently have are invaluable. Unfortunately, you have few options when it comes to acquiring more of them. Nobles ride horses and use oxen for draft. Helots own no animal as valuable as a mule. Alisters and other hegemonic authorities tend to hire mules when needed, rather than keeping any for their use. The best targets for a mule raid are the people the Alisters hire mules from, merchants or local yeoman farmers, but if you wanted, you could send out scouts to try to identify appropriate hegemonic targets. You could, of course, also buy a mule through one of your fences if you had 14 gold staters, enough money to buy a week and a half's worth of barley for the whole band. 15 scouts. Let's try to convince the merchants to give mules to the cause. I want to send Breeden because her persuasiveness is likely to bring good results. There are thousands of yeomen and hundreds of merchants within a few days' walk of the Windward. Working with Zvad and the yeoman bandits, you've tried to come up with people to approach who are likely to respond sympathetically rather than turning to you into the hegemony. Do you want to leave the wild and beg for mules, or do you want Breeden to do it? I want to send Breeden. When your deputy returns late in the week, she's wearing a broad smile and leading 2 mules with some barley on their backs. It took some talking, Captain, but there's folk out there angry against the hegemony for all kinds of reasons, and when you find the right one, they can become a lot more persuadable. From next week, you'll be able to make use of the mules. Breeden leads the animals away. You later learn that she led them straight to the sick tents to many cheers. My temper flares at hearing the news. We may not be able to use the mules for the sick, but now she's created the expectation that we will. I'd intended to devote the mules to the sick, but Breeden's use of them to boost her popularity still worries and annoys me. As long as she keeps bringing us mules, she deserves to be cheered. I can get down with that. I'm afraid she's gonna betray us, but we'll see. Let the other outlaws give credit where credit's due. If it strengthens Breeden's position in the band, well, your band needs all the strong leaders it can get. You've got 83 followers left to send on missions this week. Let's try something else. We should send missions out to spread the word of our rebellion, and we need new followers, so let's do that. I send my followers to the helot camps. I send my followers to recruit from the yeomanry. Let's start with the helot camps to see what we can get there. How many of your 83 followers do you want to send? Let's send 13, lucky 13, to get us down to an even 70. Do you want any of your band's more persuasive rebels to lead the mission? Ellery sounds good. Your 13 outlaws and Ellery travel in secret by night to the outskirts of the aristocracy's great estates to promote your cause. They inform their cautious audiences that you're not just an ordinary band of outlaws, but the first spark in rebellion against all the murderous injustices of the thaumatarchy. The helots listen eagerly to your rebellion's message. Some of them grumble that they've heard brave words like these before, and all it's ever led to has been more corpses. But the majority of them are keen to help. A few of them run away to join your band, and others promise to carry out sabotage and theft against the Hegemony. Nice. You've got 70 healthy adults bandits left to commit this week. Your stores are 28 bushels plus a 28 order. Alright, so we're back here. Let's see. I think it's good to pawn off some of our kids to good foster homes. So let's try that. Wait, how many did it say? I don't know what it said. You're determined to send your father on this mission as it's the least violent and least risky one available. As an elder, however irascible, he'll have influence on the helots of other camps. Just don't let him actually say anything, you quietly implore the outlaws next to you, unless we want every village in Shayard turned against us. Those who have heard the sharp edge of his tongue chuckle in agreement. How many of your 70 free outlaws do you want to send on this appeal? You reckon that up to 60 followers could usefully visit various helot camps in reach of your band's current bivouac. I don't know. Never read that word before. The more you send, the more barley you'll be able to carry back if the helots have any to spare. Let's do it. Let's send 60. Let's see. You know what? I'll go on this one. Well, no, my father's going on that one, so we'll see. We always have bad times together, so we'll send another outlaw to lead this one. When the begging party returns at the end of the week, your leader looks glum. Captain, they think we're beggars and don't know why we're asking them for help rather than raiding the powerful. They've shared a bit with us, though. Did the camps offer to foster any of our children? They'd be willing to take 13 all told. But, Captain, some folk who've lived with the fear of their children being sold away won't be keen to let them go now. You truly want to ask this of them? Well, no, I didn't think about that. I thought they were parentless children. No, that'll be bad for morale, so we'll keep them. It may be a hard life out here in the wild, but better to live and die as a free family than return to the children to life in the helot camp. Alright, 10 healthy adult bandits left. Let's set traps with our last 10. While you shift camp every week or two, there are several sites that you foresee using frequently. Some have better access to drinking water, others are particularly well sheltered or defensible. You deploy some of your followers to set deadfalls and other traps along the most obvious approaches to these favorite sites. You're particularly concerned to make approach on horseback impossible. Wherever there are broad gaps in the undergrowth, you have your outlaws fill them with brush and sharpened stakes. The children from your town lend an enthusiastic hand in camouflaging the stakes and pit traps. In the end, as many children as outlaws go to work in the trap building. We've left 2 safe ways in and out of this camp. Penn informs you gravely when they finish the last one. Make sure everyone knows them, Captain. We'd hate to see anyone get crushed in a landslide along the main slope. Lovely. You put all your healthy bandits to use. As the end of the week draws near, you and Breeden account for the 10 scouts on multi-week missions. 10 are looking for a vulnerable tithe barn. At the end of the week, your food train returns, adding around 28 bushels to the 45 in your stores. By the end of the week, 6 more bandits are too ill to leave the camp. Your sick bandits are languishing and 1 has died. Another 4 children have fallen ill, and 2 of the sick children have not survived the week. When your healthy outlaws living on 3-quarter rations, I'm going to have this... Going to have the same as everyone else. Your gesture of solidarity is taken for granted by nearly everyone in the band. In the coming week, 7 of your healthy bandits will be needed in camp to care for the sick and dying. When all is said and done, you now have 312 followers. Your 2 new recruits more than offset by a grievous 12 who have died in the past week, of whom 176 are too young and 17 others currently too sick to go on raids. You face the next week with morale utterly dismal. Yikes. 1 more week behind us. All right. They're saying you brought us out here to die, Captain. Ellery's tone is respectful but strained. You need to know. They're losing hope. For just a moment, you shut your eyes and sag against the taut rope, the one thing that restrains the flapping, drenched canvas overhead. Since yesterday afternoon, a massive storm has racked the windward wilds. The frigid rains have turned the lowlands into swamps and the slick slopes into traps. Lightning arcs again and again between the clouds and the high ridges, and there's no sign of it relenting. You think of the two outlaws who each broke a limb in yesterday's traverse. You remember the look of their former plowmates who hauled them until you made camp, themselves haggard and bleeding from dozens of small wounds, skins slothing over their sodden feet. They expect me to give them their hope back. She crouches expectantly at your side. You gave it to them in the first place, Oakfell. If not you, who? She's better at than I am at calming desperate folk. Yeah, let's ask Breeden to do it. Breeden nods briskly and beckons you after her. For the rest of the day, the two of you move through the makeshift forest camp, helping outlaws to make their shelters as weatherproof as possible. Breeden seeks out the most despairing, the families huddled in the miserable stupor beneath a few scraps of canvas. The gaunt young helots cling to each other for whatever warmth their famished bodies still offer. She rouses them and sets them to work with rope and canvas and pine boughs. Together you help them kindle small, smoky fires between the rocks with whatever scraps of gorse and dead wood have stayed dry in the deluge. When one shivering mother protests about thurges, Breeden gives a tired grin. Any thurge brave enough to fly in this weather deserves to get something for their trouble. And she gets them talking, their fears and frustrations and raw despair all quickly coming to the fore. Sometimes she offers an answer, a promise of better things to come. Sometimes she only offers sympathy and shared pain. Other times she just listens silently as you all work, interjecting blunt, practical comments like, "Tighten that line or you'll just have tatters come the morning." In each case, by the time you move on, the worst of their fears have been somehow exorcised. By the end of the long and weary day, you've seen the most wretched members of your band regain their hope, and you've noticed the profoundly grateful looks they give your deputy. I'm warmly grateful myself. She's done what I couldn't do for them. It was unavoidable and worth whatever difficulties may bring down the line. Maybe I had no choice, but I'm worried about Breeden gaining too much of their loyalty. I think she's a good gal. I'm warmly grateful myself. She's done what I couldn't do for them. At the start of week 2, when you send out the barley run, the band has around 35 bushels of grain in stock. You'll need to get that up to 37 bushels before the end of the week if everyone's to eat at the rations you've set. Your total wealth is 47 silver drachms. That's more than enough for your needs. With that many drachms, you could buy up to 3 bushels. How many bushels do you actually want to buy from the fences this week? Let's buy 3. So we have 35. We need 37. Let's get 1 extra one. That might help. Carrying back 3 bushels will require 1 pack animal and 1 outlaw. They trudge off into the trees. You just hope you'll see them again by Pyre Day. You've got 101 healthy adult bandits to commit this week. Assuming your grain run makes it back, they'll still need to bring in a bit less than a bushel of barley or the equivalent other food if you're to meet the rations you've set for the band. Terra informs you that 42 followers in his care need at least 10 or 11 mules if they're to move quickly in a crisis. Keep the focus on food until we've got enough, Captain, Breeden advises, and if we can't feed ourselves any other way, don't forget how much barley is out there for the taking in the Ecclesiast's tithe barns, if nothing else. It's how the priests and alistars feed themselves, if you just choose to take from them. All right. So, let's scout for opportunities to raid the institutions of the Hegemony. While there are obvious targets for your rebellion, the Hegemony servants are generally well defended. Your raids against them require some careful scouting and planning if they are not to end in disaster. The earlier you're able to start the planning, the more likely you'll enjoy success. You'll send scouts on a multi-week mission looking for a way to raid. You know what? Let's try this. Tax collectors, a mission so sensitive it will require my personal involvement. I didn't do anything last week, so I'll do it this week. You never had much to do with the Telones who collect the Hegemony's taxes. Helots work constantly in return for just enough food to keep you alive and available for the harrower. Any Helot who managed to build up a bit of wealth would have it nabbed by an Alistair or noble long before it attracted a tax collector's notice. But you know that aristocrats, merchants, and artisans hate nothing so much as the Telones. Telones. I don't know. We'll call them Telones. The lesser ones live in the rural towns, keeping an eye on harvest, trade, and the houses of the nobility. 4 times a year, just after the harvest, and on unannounced visits in the other seasons, the hegemonic high tax collector, or arch-Telone, travels from the capital to the district for a week, collecting the appointed tribute from every non-Helot household. The local Telones report whatever they've managed to spy out and argue with the householders about who has thrived over the past season and should be paying an increased share. Usually at least one family is caught concealing possessions or luxuries and is punished with swinging fines or Alistair violence. From an outlaw's perspective, the despicable local Talones are scarcely worth robbing. They're kept fed throughout the year by nobles and traders in exchange for a partial amnesty at tax time. But the Talones don't get to keep any of the main tax take or accumulate much wealth themselves. The Arch-Talone is a much better target. But finding out the timing of the winter tax procession in advance will require clever, subtle inquiry. Inquiry you need to lead yourself. If you get it wrong, your ambush party could be left waiting for days, dangerously exposed in the woods near the major estates, and the ambush itself will surely be a stiff fight. The Aristarch of a district is held responsible if anything major goes amiss with the taxes, and the Cariatu will have redoubled their guard since your revolt. Are you sure you want to personally embark on such a risky venture? Well, I appreciate you telling me all that afterwards. So let's hold off for that now. You don't want to try raiding the Arch-Talone, not yet. We need more people. Do we still want to scout? Let's do temples and monasteries. Despite your followers' qualms, you're determined to target the ecclesiast. You send 10 scouts back into the rim looking for temples which are close enough to be reachable, prosperous enough to be worth the risk of raid, and not too well guarded. Cool. Now, let's acquire more mules. Let's see. Breeding was successful last time, so we'll let her do it again. Wait. I don't want to do that again. Whoops. Okay. Cool. So breeding is gone. You've got plenty of healthy adult bandits left to commit this week. Your stores of 36 bushels plus the 3 you've ordered are enough for the band's appointed rations, opening up other possibilities. Set more crippling traps. Let's hunt for game other than deer. We haven't tried that yet. While deer are the usual winter mainstay, the Windward Wilds do have other game. Even in winter, you can set some of your outlaws to hunting bear or rabbits and other petty game to supplement your grain stores. The bears of Windward have also suffered from the mass death of deer in the autumn. Those that didn't starve have retreated into their caves and are drowsing through the cold, rainy winter. Finding one will be hard work. Killing one will be dangerous. If you find one, it will feed your band well, but hunting small game is less likely to fail. We don't want to start with a bear. Let's do rabbits and small game. Let's try that. In past winters, snared rabbits have provided a welcome bit of meat in the hellic camps. You choose how many of your 90 free outlaws you want to set to this task. Let's send 30 fellas out hunting. Over the course of the week, 30 fellas scour the bit of wild you're moving through. On average, each manages to bring back around 6 rabbits and other small game animals. It should save your food stores about 9 bushels of barley, and the hide should fetch 22 drachms. Well done, boys. Let's see. Let's recruit some more followers. Let's recruit from the yeomanry now. Hey, you know what? Let's send to them both. Get some more folks. We'll send 20. I'm just now realizing though, and we'll send Ellery again. I'm just now realizing your 20 outlaws not only traveling secretly by night to the outskirts of the aristocracy's great estates and small holds of the rim. These hellish yeomen alike prove a receptive, indeed a passionately engaged audience. Your mission returns triumphant, bringing a few new recruits as testimony to your many new supporters back in the rim. I'm just realizing that the more people I bring in, the more I have to feed. Alright, so can we do anything else? Yeah, we can. Let's see if we can't work with local merchants to smuggle goods over the Windward Pass. The merchants who visit Rim Square used to complain, often and loudly, at least in the absence of Alistairs, about the tariffs on inter-provincial trade. The Thaumatarch imposes a swingeing tax each time goods cross a border, especially on luxuries and key goods like wool, steel, and wheat. Yet, to your great surprise, almost no smuggling goes on through this unpatrolled wilderness into the neighboring province of Windery. When you ask Vod why not, he simply says, "Everyone knows the bandits control this area, Captain." You wrinkle your brow. So why aren't we smuggling? Surely some of the band have connections on this wintry side of the border, and it's not as if the merchants in Shayard are too honest to do business with us. Not too honest, too frightened, Zvod replies. Take Elaine Laybridge, who will trade us a grain for any silks or oils we bring her. If the Alisters suspect she's been fencing stolen Shayardine goods, they'll lean on her for a cut of the profits. But if they suspected her of cross-border smuggling, they'd kill her out of hand. The Caragons care more about some crimes than others. And that threat really works, you ask incredulously? The merchants of Shayard give up huge profits because they know they'll be killed if they get caught? Of course not, Captain Zvod says, patient as ever, nor do the Alisters come to that. But they only smuggle with someone they trust completely to be competent and discreet. No one trusts us enough, and they can't use this pass without us, so no one uses it. I'm not good at, persuasion, so. Fair enough. What shall we do? I don't know what else we want to do here in this last episode. We will scout. We already scouted for opportunities. Let's set some more traps. You continue to prepare deadfalls, pits, and sharpened stakes around the camps and springs. This week you also work to set traps along the trails an attacking force might use. How many of your 40 free followers do you send? Let's do 25. Camouflage and stakes, blah blah blah. And let's send the rest of them out on a hunt again. Okay, so we can't do that. Let's send 15 to try to get more food. I'll go myself. You'll be in the Rim this week anyway. You can combine your other work with visiting a couple of Helot camps. The Helots outside Rim Square haven't been sure what to think of your rebellion. Now they consider you an extortionist and a beggar, of course. You bring back a little barley and less silver, completely exhausting the local Helotry's tolerance for you. They've certainly got no interest in putting themselves at risk by fostering any of your children. Soon you have to hurry back to the wild for fear the hostile elders will notify the Alisters of your presence. It'll be some time before you dare approach the Helot camps again. Well, whoops. You put all your healthy bandits to use. At the end of the week draws near, you and Breeden account for the 20 scouts on multi-week missions. 10 are looking for vulnerable tithe barn, 10 are hunting for vulnerable temples and monasteries. At the end of the week, your food train returns, adding around 3 bushels to the 47 in your stores. By the end of the week, 7 more bandits are too ill to leave the camp. Your sick bandits are languishing, 1 has died, another 4 children have fallen ill, and 2 of the sick children have not survived the week. In the coming week, 8 of your healthy bandits will be needed in camp to take care of the sick and dying. When all is said and done, you now have 312 followers. Your 3 new recruits balanced by the same number who have died, of whom 174 are too young and 25 others currently too sick to go on raids. You face the next week with morale utterly dismal. Perfect. Okie dokie, folks. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you will come back for the next one. In the meantime, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I love you very much. Bye-bye.